Hello guys, boys and girls, welcome to this new video, a tier list, finally! It's the new season and I haven't done a tier list in quite a bit and I think everyone is very confused, including myself, about where the different supports are. We're going to be making a tier list exclusively for ranked, so this won't really rate that competitive play. That means that we'll probably see more warriors, assassin and mages towards the top of the list rather than guardians, which might play slower, because it's just easier to win ranked games when you can kind of carry from the support role, at least from my experience. So, the premise we're going to establish very fast right now, just basically, is that there's some guards like Ganesha and Fafnir that are gonna do super well, and they would probably do super well in competitive as well, but more so whereas a guard like Khepri or a guard like Gep are super strong supports. That doesn't necessarily mean that those are the guards that win you rank games, because you are very reliant on your team. So from my perspective, especially, I've played a lot of morning ranked lately, I am leaning more towards guards that can actually do damage and carry a game. So like Cerberus would probably rank higher than a Gep or a Khepri. With that said, that doesn't mean that I think the guard is necessarily better, but it's better to win rank games. So this tier list is all about winning your rank games. So yeah, carry your rank games, carry a team. If you doubt me, I think you can see in a lot of the games I play that I just do super well on some guards where I can actually try and carry comparable to like other guards. A good example is I had an Achilles game on my YouTube lately where I went like, I don't even know. I was super, like, I was like 18-3 or something, right? Did 81k damage. Whereas today I had a Ganesha game and it was like the same caliber of players I was playing with and against, and it just had no impact on the game because I was playing Ganesha. Like, you are really reliant on your team. So that's just the main thing that I want to establish, because there is going to be quite a few shockers in here, but it's mainly based around winning ranked, this tier list. If you want to win ranked and you're playing support, this is the tier list you want to watch. So I got the guards we are going with here. I put them all down in D tier to start with. What is coming for all these guards is these are guards I've played in season 6. So there are certain guards that you could probably play in the support role, which I've not included. That's like Hercules, Erlangsen, people play Morrigan as well, right? Like, there's quite a few guards, like Nike as well, which I have seen people play in support, Osiris as well, but I'm not going to include them because I haven't played them, and therefore I don't think it's fair that I give an opinion on them if I haven't tried it or tested it out myself. So let's get into the tier list. That was kind of the background on it. So we're just going to straight up start with Achilles. So for carrying ranked, Achilles is one of the best guards in the game right now, in the support role. Achilles has a very weak late game compared to pretty much any guardian, but where you win your rank games is mainly in the early and the mid game. So guards that do better in the early and the mid game are also guards we're going to value higher. So a guard like Achilles does super well early on. He has one of the highest due pressures at level 1, and he just transitions very well. He works super well with the new items. Blackthorn's hammer is super nice on him if you want to try and carry the game a bit. So in my opinion, Achilles, at least for now, is probably going to be around, I would say, like around S- for carrying a ranked game. He's above average. If you want to win, get really good at playing Achilles, and you should be in a very good spot. So that's Achilles for you. He obviously lacks some late game, but if you're playing to win the game early on, then you probably shouldn't. Like, you want to play late game, then you shouldn't be playing Achilles. That's not what this tier list is for. Ranked games are won or lost in the first 15 minutes, usually, like 90% of the time. Amaterasu is going to be the next one. I actually haven't seen too much Amy, haven't played it too much myself either. But Amaterasu, what she did super well was that she was this guard that could give you lane pressure and also had a very good late game. And you'd always win lane pressure with Amaterasu. But that's not the case anymore, because we have guards like Achilles, Ganesha, Fafnir that just constantly out pressure someone like Artemis. Oh, not Artemis, Amaterasu. So I think Amaterasu, where the fuck did Amma go? There she went. It's going to be an A. Next one up is going to be Ares. Now, Ares is actually really good in ranked, because people have a tendency, at least the jungler has a tendency, to not go beats and buy blink. Like most junglers do that, whether they're playing Nemesis or something like that. So you can actually get free ults on them and combo well with your team. Ares does a bunch of damage, and if you do a bunch of damage, that also means that you're going to do better. I think we're going to see the guards at the top of this tier list are also going to be guards that are going to do more damage on average as a support, rather than the guards that don't do a lot of damage will be placed lower. I think Ares is probably A+. I think the reason why he's not going to be S- with Achilles in support right now respectively for ranked. I think in competitive, Ares is way better than Achilles, but in ranked, it's just that his laning phase can be a bit tough. He has a tough matchup into guards like Nasha. Achilles does pretty well into him. Garza just kind of punishes him. Cerberus does pretty well into Ares as well. Kumbhakana is another big one. Archo is up next. Archo is probably one of the best characters as a guardian you can play in ranked right now. Archo has a bunch of damage, just a lot of peel, a lot of ways to set up your team and set up yourself to being in a super good spot. She fits well with the build that's going on right now. Obviously, Stone of Biting has gotten a bit of a buff that works out well for her. Only Hunters is super good on her, so I think she fits pretty well. I think she's probably S- up with Achilles as well. Next up is Athena, and for carrying your ranked games, I think Athena is extremely poor. I think Athena is very more merit in competitive, but in ranked, it's super tough to get a win with Athena, in my opinion, in most of the games, so therefore I'm going to put Athena in B. She's very one-tricked. She doesn't do a lot of damage. It's hard to get good ultimates off, because if you want to combo with someone, you can't just tell them, unless you're on comms, obviously, that I'm gonna Athena ult you, let's Logi ult or Bellona ult the soul laner, or it's hard to know when you're gonna ult and it's hard to make sure that you have a mid lane that always follows up. So I think Athena is B for winning ranked games. This card right here, Bacchus, is absolutely broken right now. Like he pretty much beats anyone in lane. 14% mitigation. He has a stun with anti-heal on it as well. You can also get the flop if you want. Doesn't really matter. You have extra power. You're gonna outbox any assassin support like Nasha, Fafnir, which is pretty damn sick to me. So I think Bacchus is S+. He does so much damage as well. He's going to take a bit of a nerf because the Legion helm is gonna get nerfed. Elo helm, as we call it here in Europe. But I still think he's S+. He's definitely the highest. Like, if you just want to win a ranked game, just pick Bacchus, man. Like, you'd be set. Baron Samedi. Baron Samedi is a bit weird, because Baron Samedi has always been a go-to win support for me. I think he has lost a lot of what he does, though, just because he's gotten one nerf so many times. Therefore, I'm going to put him in A. Personally, I find Baron is like the guy that have the highest win rate with in ranked. But I think that's... I guess it's just more playstyle specific to the way I play the game. Baron fits my playstyle super well, and that works out for me. So this is a tier list for me right now, like for everyone, I guess, but more so like your personal preferences might not be the same as I have. So obviously, if you have an insane Cabrakan support or something, he's going to be SS for you, but he won't be in this tier list. So I think Baron does decently. He's pretty good at carrying ranked games, but the premise is going to be that you need some farm before you can get to a point where you can actually carry that ranked game. Next up is Cabrakan. Now, Cabrakan has suffered a lot, mainly because of his mana issues, because he's actually really good in lane, but he struggles with manas. But if you have a soul in it that can actually take the totem, he's going to get a bunch of help or mana, because the totem is going to give him that extra MP5. So I think that gives him some more merit. However, I don't think Cabrakan is very good right now. So I'm probably gonna even put him down in B. Like, if you want to win ranked games, you probably shouldn't be playing Cabrakan. He has a lot of explosive damage, sure, but if you want explosive damage, then you might as well just go Cerberus or Bacchus or something that kind of the guards does the same. Not really, but they're still like, you can blow up a backline, right? Brings us to Cerberus. I've talked a lot about him. I think Cerberus is pretty insane right now. He does a bunch of damage. He does really well into some of the highest meta picks right now. We see some of the highest meta picks have a bunch of lifesteal or like health in their builds. Or mana, Freya or Kwong are all guards that are always going to be healing a lot. And I think that really helps him. Also, Spear of Magus is pretty much getting built on every mage, so you're pretty much going to be doing true damage with your breath and your mage. So I think Cerberus, at least for me, it's a guard. If I want a win in ranked, I'm always going to try and pick Cerberus, because he just works out so well, in my opinion. In competitive, he's way harder to pull off, because teams are actually playing around the Cerberus and trying to cancel his 2, trying to pick him out. That's kind of Cerberus' weakness, right? If you throw out your kit, you're also very, very vulnerable to dying. And that's where he really, really struggles, Cerberus. He has this pretty sick laning phase. So in my opinion, Cerberus, for winning ranked games, is probably going to go up in S. Remember, again, this is for winning ranked games. This is not for what you want to pick in your tournament game or something. This is for winning your ranked games. Fafnir's up next. I think Fafnir is going to be the only Guardian that I'm going to place, like, that has like more of a late game oriented playstyle that I'll be placing highly on this list. Fafnir right now is in a good spot, especially in the next patch when he's going to get more damage on his hammer at level 1. 100 damage, that means you should pretty much be able to outsecure anyone on your purple buff if you want to start level 1 with your purple buff. Because what Fafnir lacks is he lacks laning phase. He pretty much has a non-existent laning phase. Sure, he can take some poke, but he can't really kill anyone unless you have a super aggressive ADC. What Fafnir does bring though is that he can actually do a bunch of damage and really carry your team late game with the CC he brings, and he's always going to be doing damage throughout like the whole game. So for me at least, I think he's with Ares Fafnir right now for winning your ranked games. So that's where we're going to place him. Next up is Fenrir. If you want to win your ranked games, you can also just play Fenrir. Fenrir is insane right now. He has so much lane pressure, probably only gets beaten by a god like Back. He actually does pretty well into Fenrir. I would say the Nasha Fenrir matchup is super weird, but most of the times it should probably go to Fenrir. So Fenrir actually out pressures Nasha, and I also think Fenrir beats Nasha in the mid game, just because Fenrir can ult and force Nasha's ult very, very easily. Whereas if you're not really gonna be Nasha ulting the Fenrir too much. Fenrir says, bunch of lane pressure, you can really carry games with Fenrir support. That's what you want. If you want to carry a game, play Fenrir. Next up, Ganesha. Ganesha's bad for carrying ranked games. He's just bad. Like, Ganesha is going to be good in a scenario where you're playing in an extremely like competitive ranked game, and it's a perfect match for him, and you have 4 teammates that are absolutely insane at the game. Then you might be in a scenario where you can actually do work on Ganesha. But if you want to win ranked games, then you probably shouldn't be picking Ganesha, because in my experience, he does not win ranked games. I really don't think so. Gep, pretty insane. I think Gep is probably A. The only reason why I'm not going to put Gep like higher, because I think Gep is higher, I think Gep is really good, is because he doesn't really carry ranked games. Like, he's kind of the same as Fafnir, but just not really. Like, he has a super good mid-late game. It's easy to set up your team. But I think more so than on Fafnir, on Gep, you actually rely on your teammates to do stuff. And if you want to win ranked games, you might, like, it's nice to be able to rely on your teammates, but that's not necessarily really the case with Gep. So I think he's A. I think the guard is super, super, super strong. But for winning ranked games, I don't think he's the best, so we're going to place him in A. Cuchulainn was a super aggressive support at like the middle of last season. Obviously he could transform, and then he would have all his abilities besides his ult in his transformation at level 1. However, Cuchulainn kinda is facing the same problem as a guard like Amaterasu is. Besides the fact that Cuchulainn has also got nerfed, and Amaterasu really hasn't gotten nerfed lately. That there's just more guards that does Cuchulainn's job in duo better now. Nasha, Fenrir, Achilles, Archer, they're all super dominant laners, and Cuchulainn can't really match that. And with that said, like, Cuchulainn is pretty goddamn average at like everything else he does, and he's one of those guards where you literally need someone with peel, right? Or not with peel, you need someone with items. What am I saying? Peel. You need a guard with items. It's a guard like Cuchulainn needs items, and that's why he's played in solo lane. Same goes for King Arthur. If I would place King Arthur on this list, he would probably be around A+. I'm not going to place King Arthur on this list, just because, well, first of all, he's not here, so it's a bit of a ripper, isn't it? He's not there. But I think he is also just a better solo laner. I would have placed him on this if he was here, but he isn't. But he would probably be around A or A+ King Arthur support. But I think King Arthur is way better in solo than in support, so don't play it in support in most scenarios. Probably B, Cuchulainn. He struggles a lot, doesn't really do anything. You can get like a few games where you can completely pop off, but yeah. Hell is A-, and I think the only reason why I'm placing Hell this high is because in my experience, if you're a good Hell player, you can actually do work and carry your team relatively easily. Contrary to like popular belief, she actually has a pretty decent early game, Hell, and I think if you can get off to a good start, you can definitely carry your team. And she also does damage. She has healing. She's more of a, like, she's one of them guards where you can make plays by yourself, whereas you're never going to solo someone with Ganesha, you're never going to solo someone with Athena, you're definitely going to be able to solo someone with a Hell. With that said, Hell kind of struggles right now. I think she might even be lower than A plus or A minus, but you guys know I have an obvious bias towards Hell, so I'm going to place Hell here. We'll see how that works. I think one thing Hell does have going for her right now is that we're going into a meta where everyone is building more health. And Hell does well when she has other people frontlining. And a lot of the guards we're seeing in solo and in jungle can actually frontline pretty well. So that helps Hell out quite a bit. Next on this is Cabrakan. Kumba is really good for ranked. I think Kumba is A+. He's not A+ in competitive, but for ranked, he does super well. I've always criticized Cabrakan for being super... it's super easy to predict what the guard does. Like, he's kind of a one-trick pony to the extent he's always just gonna 2, or he's just always gonna blink all the blink mess you, right? He doesn't have like anything wild he can just pull off. Everything he does is very expected, and it's very easy to see it coming. But in ranked, that's actually kind of playing to your advantage, because people don't really pay too much attention in ranked. He has a pretty goddamn great level 1 Kumba. He obviously has his 2, his big old smack on a low cooldown. He can build damage. He's one of the guardians that can actually build damage and do a lot of damage. So I think Kumba is really good. He's one of those guards where you can definitely carry your team and also do a lot of damage. Khepri's super strong. Khepri's underrated, man. Like, for competitive, I think Khepri's way better, though. I think that's just kind of, in general, Khepri just does better in competitive. But he's definitely not a bad guard at all. You have a bunch of CC, you have your 2, such a ridiculous ability. Obviously, you have your ult. But that also kind of comes down to you relying on your team on a guard like Khepri. And I think, therefore, Khepri is going to be A alongside Gep. But with that said, if this was a tier list for competitive or just overall in Smite, these 2 guards would be higher, and a guard like Achilles would be way lower, right? But that's not the case right now. Let's see if we can get Achilles back in place. I screwed it up, didn't I? There we go. Okay, so next up on the list is Kuzenbo. You would think Kuzenbo is good at carrying from the support role. My issue with Kuzenbo support is that he struggles in the same way that King Arthur and Gokulan does. Kuzenbo is only good if he's played from ahead, or if he's played from even. The problem with the support role is that you're always going to be lagging behind on items. You're always going to have less farm. And if you're level 13 Kuzenbo and there's a level 16 or 17 Hunter standing there, that Hunter is not gonna mind if you start running at him. Whereas if your solo laner, who is also building damage, or who's also building damage, is at the same level as the Hunter, or even above, you're gonna fucking run from that Kuzenbo. So Kuzenbo's not good at carrying ranked games just because it's super hard to get a head on him in the first place. He doesn't solo farm well at all in the support role. And he doesn't really have... His level 1 is pretty goddamn good still, but it gets hard countered by a few guards. So I don't think Kuzenbo is good in the support role at all. Like, literally at all. I'm tempted to put Kuzenbo in C, but I think I'm going to put him in B just because he does have some Maritime late game. He has a low cooldown ult, so that's really good. Nasha's the next one. I think Nasha's absolutely insane right now. Probably alongside Bacchus. If you want to win ranked games, like if you just want to win lane pressure, you can pretty much just always pick Nasha. Nasha has like a few rough matchups, and her rough matchups are, funny enough, are actually like Bacchus, Fafnir, and Cerberus. Agatha does pretty well into Nasha, so that's kind of where you have to trade off with Nasha. But Nasha just kind of does everything you want from a support in ranked. You have setup, you have a lot of high damage, you can make plays on your own, you have sustain, you have like outplay potential with your sash obviously, and your ult, your ring toss. She works super well with Blackthorn's hammer. Build Blackthorn's hammer on Nasha. Just try it, it's really good. So she's one of those guards that's gonna do well. And Nasha actually has a pretty goddamn good late game, whereas a guard like Fafnir falls off. Fafnir late game is literally just, I'm gonna ult a tank and let's hope we can blow it up. I'm gonna ult a carry and force the beat. Nasha is, I'm gonna run at your carry and I'm gonna kill your carry if he doesn't pay attention. So Nasha works so well in ranked. Absolutely horrible to play against a fat Nasha. I hate nothing more than it. That's gonna bring us to Odin. Now Odin, it's hard, right? Where would you place the boy Odin? Odin is so situational in support. He does kind of have some of the criteria where like he has good laning phase, he has a high kill potential, high damage output potential, high punishment potential, but I just think Odin kinda is in the same boat as where he's better played from ahead. You're always gonna have your cage, but in rank you're not really gonna be relying on follow-up in your cage. You're also gonna be relying on your own damage, and if you don't have farm, that won't be the issue. The thing with all these guards right here is that all these 6 guards right here, they do a bunch of damage regardless of how much farm they have, whereas a guard like a Colon doesn't, right? Like these guards are always going to be doing a lot of damage, and these guards also have a laning phase where they can set themselves ahead just because they're super strong in lane. Odin doesn't really have that to the same extent. So I think for ranked, Odin is probably A-. Struggles a lot. I just don't think he's good. There's like a few scenarios where you can pick him and it's fine, but in most cases it's just tough to play Odin in ranked to my experience. Sobek up next. Sobek is going to be insane next patch. So let's just say that this is the next patch and Sobek is there. Then Sobek is probably going to be S-. Sobek is getting a health increase of 100. He's getting more protections on his free. That means this guard is going to be absolutely crazy next patch. He's going to do so much work, honestly. Like, Sobek is really good for lane pressure. You wouldn't think so, but his anti-heal actually does work at level 1, just because you can anti-heal enemies' potions. He's super good for doing damage. Like, Sobek obviously does a bunch of damage. That's why Soldier plays him as well, right? Sobek kind of needs item to an extent, I guess, but with the recent buffs, he needs items less than he did before, and also he plays super well with some of the items, like an only hunter on Sobek is always going to be good. He has Reliant CC, he can pick the enemy out of position, good laning phase, you're going to be doing a bunch of damage. Like Carryback is coming back. Trust me, if you want to win some ranked games, wait until the next patch and then play Sobek. Trust me. And the next patch is on Tuesday, I believe. Sylvanas next up. Very, very standard guard for me. If I want to win my ranked games, I'm going to be picking Sylvanas. I would probably play Sylvanas in A+. Sylvanas' main problem is that he gets super hard countered by all the good supports in ranked right now. Bacchus, Nasha, not really Nasha, but like Bacchus, Fafnir, Cerberus, Sobek, Archer all has like very good matchups into Sylvanas, so that's pretty rough for Sylvanas. Sylvanas does bring lane pressure. You can actually do a bunch of damage and a bunch of sick plays on Sylvanas, so that's why he's above average. He's really good for winning ranked, but he does get kind of fucked by these guards. So if you're playing Fafnir against Sylvanas against Kumba, Fafnir, Ares, any of these guards, like, you're fine, you'll win lane, right? Like, that's just how simple it is. It's almost like these guards are listed after winning lane, and they kind of are to an extent, because if you win lane, if like you have a guard that should win lane, you're going to get ahead. You're gonna go grab the enemy's peril buff. You might kill the jungler when he comes in gank. You're just gonna be able to snowball the game, because most games in ranked are just done like this. You know, the enemy team gives up, they start screaming at each other, they start not giving a shit. That's not the same in competitive at all, so that's why these guards do better. Terra's next. I think Terra's horrible in support right now. Gonna place it down in C with Ganesha. I think my main reasoning to why Terra is so bad right now is just she doesn't really bring too much to the table anymore in support. She has gotten nerfed so much, and she gets kind of farmed by the new supports. Terra did well against more traditional guardians like Sylvanas or Cabrakan or a Geb or something. You would be fine playing Terra, right? Or like a Khepri. That's a good Terra game. But Terra doesn't really do too well into any of these guards right here. She does pretty decent into Sobek, and that's about it. She kind of gets bopped by all the other guards that are super good right now. The way people have started to play Terra as well, I feel like Terra is better played as a backline diver, where you blink in and you engage the fight with your ult, but then you have the same issue that you need items. So I think Terra plays is super poorly on my list just because of that. Emir is up next. Now, the Emir. This is a bit of a good question, I think. Where does he place? Where would he place? Emir is super good in ranked. He kind of farms in ranked, in my opinion. and I think he farms so much in ranked, we can probably put him in A+ and be fine with that. Amir does a bunch of damage, he has a wall, he has a good laning phase. One of the only guards that actually beats Fafnir, can potentially beat Nasha, although it's a bit harder. Should be able to out-push Baggers, but I don't think he necessarily beats Baggers in the level 1 fight. But Amir is really good, he has a bunch of pressure, a bunch of damage. I have a very great success personally when I play Amir in ranked. A lot of guards that are meta right now, you can wall those guards off. So it's super nice. Also, he's just naturally very, very tanky. Xingqian is actually pretty annoying. Like, not annoying, it's pretty exciting because he has gotten super buffed in my opinion as a dual laner. And the main reason why it's a buff for Xingqian, the way they changed his 1, is because you can actually use that to your advantage when you're fighting at level 1 now, having the enemy actually do 20% less damage and the enemy support as well on the basic attacks is really, really good in the laning phase. Xingqian actually does a bunch of damage. He kind of has the same issue that he needs items to be online, but through his laning phase he might actually do that pretty well. I'm gonna place him in A- with the potential to go higher or lower, but I think A- is a good place for him right now. You can definitely play it, and I think if you're a good Xingqian player, can pop off. Saket support is not very good right now in my mind. I think for winning ranked games, you're probably just sitting around A-. You're not really doing, like, Saket support has just fallen off because she's gotten nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. And it's alright, like, it's justifiable nerfs because she's getting nerfed in a way where you do less damage with the poison. That was kind of Saket's whole thing in the support, is that you can build full tank and still do a lot of damage. You still kind of can with Black Fonts and stuff, but I don't think Saket is my go-to assassin anymore. When it comes to winning the game, I like just trying to carry a team. She also really struggles in lane, which definitely doesn't help her. But if you can get out of laning phase, Saket is definitely a good guard, and you might be able to carry a team. With that said, this is my new favorite assassin support. I enjoy playing 4 support so much. It's really fun. It's actually really strong because he has a good laning phase. He does really well with Black Fawn's hammer right now. You can get a bunch of damage off. It's actually relatively easy to carry in ranked on 4 support, just because the enemies won't expect you to like ult and gank, specifically in solo. Mid, they're like, oh, well, it's 4 support, I'm gonna be fine, and you dunk and you're still gonna do 1,000,000 damage. 4 support does a bunch of damage, works really well for me, so that's where we're gonna place him. Just an A. So I think King Arthur probably would have been an A, or like A+ as well. If there's another like few worthy mentions, I guess, from here, like Erlang would probably be like A-, and you'd have a guard like Nox A-, as well. I think that's kind of it. Morrigan support, don't really see that. Just the good old Sean Kui support with Gem of Isolation, Hunter's Blessing. Those are the fun days. But yeah, I pretty much think that's it for this new episode. Who are the new guys? Merlin, Arthur, and Hera. I don't think Hera really gets played in support either. But that's pretty much it. Again, this tier list is not made for competitive smite. It's not made for how good the guard is in general. This is made on the mindset of what guard do I pick if I want to win ranked. And in my personal opinion, these are the guards you want to pick if you win ranked in this particular order. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be playing Ganesha Terra, because you can still have fun and do very well on those guards, but for winning ranked, those are definitely not the guards you want to play. Same goes with Athena, Cabrakan, Kokola, and Kosembo. And then kind of the higher up you get, the trend kind of is that these guards win lane, which is a really big thing about winning ranked, and they do a bunch of damage, which is another big thing about winning ranked. That does mean that this is the list you should look at if you want to go and play in a tournament with your team or something, or if you're just looking to have fun. This isn't the list for you. This is the list for winning ranked games. This is my secret recipe. I believe right now I'm 43 and 18 in ranked. I'm number 11 in Grandmasters. I have some of the least games played and I have one of the best win rates in GM. And I've pretty much just kind of stuck to this tier list here and just tried to pick these guards, and you get 3 wins. Whenever I played Ganesha, I lost. Whenever I played Athena, I lost. My losses are mainly on the guards on the bottom half, and my wins are up here. More so for me, that's because I play ranked early in the morning, which means that I have to carry my team more so than if I played in the afternoon or in the evening, when there's pretty good players on my level. in the game. If there's players on your own level, some of those priorities right here might change a bit, and it might be harder to pull off Achilles support, and you might want to play Gep or Khepri instead. But if you're support and you want to win ranked and you feel like you kind of have to carry, this is a tier list for you. So remember that before you guys flame me in chat for putting your favorite guard, maybe not even in the tier list, but down low. Just remember that, please. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Go check out Eniba, the awesome sponsor of this video. And that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, press the bell. Until next time, everyone. Also the next tier list. Peace out.